Happy Friday, everyone, except for Greg, because he is sore from Pilates.
It's still a happy Friday. That means that
It's still a happy Friday.
I can wake up nice and easy tomorrow.
Welcome to the Blue Review, everyone. Marcus Grant joins us today alongside Corporate Greg and myself, Parker Bell. I don't have a cool nickname yet.
Parker Bell's kind of a cool name, though, so I don't think you need one.
Well, thank you. Fair enough.
Strong name.
Guys,
P-Bell. I'm not a fan of the P-Bell, but I know that's what you go by. So.
It's kind of stuck from high school, and now once the younger friends like Cody and them catch on to it, it just like. And Stefa our assistant here at the office, our head manager of partner coordination, she uses it on emails, and I'm like, Stefa, I want to look professional in your calls. But anyways, happy Friday. The Dodgers got the Padres today. Maybe not as exciting as it used to be in years past. We'll get into that. But before we do, just a reminder that the Blue Review is presented by LAX. Our friends at Los Angeles International Airport are changing the travel experience, just reducing traffic time, saving guest time, all that great stuff, and just continuing to make changes for the traveler. So if you want to learn more, check that out at flylax.com/transforminglax. So Greg, you mentioned something about this series, and it kind of piqued my interest. You don't care about it?
I mean, yeah, not so much. They're playing the Padres this year. And by the way, I'm sure we'll get into some of the Ippei stuff that came out yesterday because it came out after the Blue Review ended yesterday with you two, which I heard did a phenomenal job. So thank you guys for taking control of that and not even needing me. So I appreciate it. So for this series, over the last 3 years or so, Marcus, I've been really interested in the series because they was little brother and they think they were going to overtake us and they were going to be so much better and they talk so much smack over and over again. And now this year, with the way things are going and the way this team is, I just don't care. This is just another series.
I think some of it's too because they're not as chirpy this year as they have been in past years. There was a lot of chirping coming from down south previously. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, even it was big enough that like the Twitter accounts of the respective cities' public libraries were talking trash to one another. Like
that's right.
That's how big it got. Like, and I don't know if it's because last year was such a disappointment for the Padres, and they kind of left licking their wounds, and they ended up losing a ton of their key guys. I mean, you lose a Juan Soto, you lose a Blake Snell. I think for the Padres, it just became a situation where it's like, hey, maybe let's just keep quiet and let's just focus on baseball and let's try to get some wins. There hasn't been the same feeling about it so far. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, and I'm like, I don't even know what to take from the Seoul series because that series just felt like unlike anything else that they're going to do this year. I know they split, but I felt like there was nothing from those two games that I could really take away and apply to what we may see this weekend.
Yeah, and then the only thing that I could possibly take away is this Yamamoto going out there again after he got smacked around in the first inning and to just have a revenge game kind of deal because he since that game, he hasn't given up a run. So if he can come out and just kind of shove like he has been in the last two games, then it'll be great. But yeah, that's the only thing that's in there, but it's just for Yamamoto, a singular piece. It's just for him. I think the rest of it means Jack. Win the series and I'm good.
So to you, all the like Marcus, you made the point. There was a lot of noise last year and the years prior. Now, maybe it's early and maybe that noise hasn't come yet. But for you, Greg, like guys like Machado, Tatis, I mean, they just don't really cross your mind anymore.
Not anymore. I still don't like Machado. I'm not Johnny Hustle and blowing bubbles as he's running up to first base. In a playoff game, that's not. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but he's the real villain of that team. Fernando Tatis is still a good player, but he's also, he's a steroid guy. So at the same time, they don't have meaning to me again. Like they shouldn't have back then, and they don't have meaning now.
Jake Cronenworth just doesn't get under your skin. What the heck, Greg?
It's sort of back to where it was previously, right? Where I mean, for years it was like I don't hate the Padres. I don't think about the Padres. I mean, that's kind of what it is. Like, I just don't, I don't hate you. I'm just, what's the Mad Men meme? Like, I don't think about you at all. Like, that's kind of how it was. Like,
ambivalence
really sort of was. And so, I still think this is a good enough team that they're going to be kind of hanging around. They'll be sort of in the rearview mirror for a good chunk of the season. I mean, look, if the Dodgers don't win the division, something went terribly wrong this year. But I could see the Padres sort of just kind of hanging around where, like, maybe not, within arm's length, but just kind of, there.
Yeah, I think between them and the Diamondbacks, honestly, projection wise, at least in my mind, I think they're going to be right there around the same record.
I think the Diamondbacks
Both
fell off
Diamondbacks.
this year. I feel like the Diamondbacks snuck up on a lot of people last year.
Yeah. Diamondbacks were that team that was 1 year away, but they got there 1 year too early. So
Right.
they're not. So the next year they're not there now, and they fall back down to where they're supposed to be. Yeah, they're still gonna be good. I think the rest of the NL West is actually gonna be pretty decent outside of the Rockies. I think the Giants are gonna end up being pretty good when all is said and done too.
Giants have some hitters, man.
Yeah, they got some hitters. They added some pitching. They have there's a lot going on there that's actually pretty decent. If I was just gonna guess right now, I would probably go Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Giants, Padres, Rockies. Like, I think the Padres drop all the way down, and there's a fight in for 2 and 3 between the Giants and the Diamondbacks.
Do any of those other teams make the playoffs, or is it just the Dodgers out of the West?
One of them do. Yeah, I think the NL West will be good enough because look, the rest of the NL is just not that good. I mean, the Braves are good, the Phillies are good, the Mets are always stink. They're not going to get like they're supposed to be good and they're not good. I mean, in the Central, I think someone between the Cardinals, Brewers, Cubs, Reds will get in there. I mean, there's probably only one from there. So you probably get the Phillies and either the Diamondbacks or the Giants in there as well.
Well, I mean, it's just a fact that MLB is better when you see teams like Dodgers, Giants, Yankees, up at the top. So it would be nice in terms of for the fan. But I agree with you, Greg. I think that the NL West at least is going to be decently strong. So, I mean, these teams are going to be competing to the very end. I think it was the Padres last year who started to make a little bit of run. They weren't like technically eliminated until maybe like the second to last game or something. So it's gonna be a fun watch this year. And this series, even though it means nothing to you, Greg, I think it'll be exciting just to see the little brothers get their bleep handed to them,
their butts whipped. Yeah, I mean, look, whatever happens, if let's say the Dodgers, like, knock on wood, I don't think it'll ever happen, get swept. Are we going to come here on Monday and be like, oh, the Dodgers are in trouble? No, not at all. And if they sweep, we're like, yeah, that's pretty much expected. If it's 2-1, 1-2, whatever it is, we're probably okay. There's not going to be that same desire to be really excited about this series as there has in the past.
No, I think that's fair. I'm sitting here just scrolling through Padres batting averages at this point. I mean, Manny Machado hitting 237s. Andrew Bogart's hitting 237 right now.
What is Tatis doing?
263. He's got 4 home runs. He leads the team with 4 home runs at the moment.
He's got power.
He's got power. I mean, we know that. He's he got it from his dad.
I don't know. This team is definitely, but this team is just another team. I don't know. To me, it's not just another team again. They've gone back to irrelevance. Where they belong. Honestly, where they belong.
We need another rap from the Padres.
What
were they called? That's what's in. Oh man, I don't even want to relive that. Sheesh. So I don't know. I mean, Yamamoto tonight. How are we feeling? I know, Marcus, you and I kind of talked about it yesterday. The command is starting to come there, but he's still behind in a lot of counts. So, Greg, how like comfortable are you with his start tonight? And just what do you kind of project?
I think the first inning is going to be very, very telling for Yamamoto. It's going to be something where if he can come out and just keep guys off the base, and I really want to see a 1-2-3 first, because he's been allowing a lot of guys on base and getting them trying to get out of trouble in those first innings. So if he can just have a clean first inning, I think he'll float on through. But if he gets a little bit into trouble, it's just one pitch at that point. If he loads the bases like he has been, or if he gets guys on base and one pitch just kind of starts that whole train moving, a single here and a single there, and all of a sudden he looks up and just like in Seoul, it's 5-0. So, I want to see him get through the top of the lineup very, very quickly.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see what he learned from seeing them in Seoul, having gone through that batting order or as much as he did, what he took away from it and what adjustments he's going to make. Because like now this is, the hitters got out and the hitters won. that time around. So now it's his turn to make adjustments and see what they can do against him. So I'm with you. I think the first inning, maybe the first 2 innings, going to be very, very telling for what kind of day it's going to be for him.
What batter do you guys think will have a breakout series this one? Do you think Will Smith will continue his hot streak, Shohei continue his hot streak, or do you see somebody else kind of popping off this weekend?
I would like to see some of those guys near the bottom of the order. I mean, look, I don't know if Chris Taylor is going to be in the lineup with as bad as he's been, but it would be nice. It would be nice to see him get going a little bit right now. I'm trying to think who else look, the guys at the top they're going to hit. I'm not worried about, Mookie, Shohei, Freddie, even Will Smith. It was nice to see Max Muncy turn the power on a little bit. But Lux, Taylor, those are the guys that I think I really want to see come to life a little bit.
So I think it's going to be Outman. He's starting. We've been talking about him a ton, where he's been hitting the ball hard. I don't know if you guys got into him yesterday, but he hit another home run. Ever since the cricket bat, he's been hitting the ball a little bit. He's actually seeing the ball better. He's been hitting the ball hard all season, but now they're starting to fall. So I'd like to see him be the guy that comes out and has a couple multi-hit games, like 2 of the 3 games. He gets a multi-hit game would be great. I mean, I'm not expecting it, but I'm hoping that he really starts to show that he kind of is figuring things out and not swinging with a massive uppercut swing that's over the ball. That's just a mess. But
come on, man, lift and separate launch angles.
I hate that launch angles. It's ridiculous.
I see you're about to give us a demonstration, Greg.
Well, you think that in the past people didn't know to just turn the bat just a little bit and you get the ball to go up in the air at a higher angle? I just can't imagine that just happened in the last 3 years. I don't know, launch angle. They just called it something new.
Yeah, I mean, they gave it a name. Before it was called like an uppercut swing. Now they just gave it a name now.
Yeah. So, guys, I know it's not the most fun topic. I know it came out yesterday. The reports from the FBI, the DOJ, and Homeland Security all put out the reports about Ippei and how it all worked out. Did you guys get the chance to read any of it? Because I read about 17 to 20 pages of the 37-page report.
That's more than I read. I mean, I saw a lot of the highlights. I will admit that a lot of it just came from like the reporters on Twitter, sort of boiling down the big parts of it. Look, obviously the biggest takeaway for Shohei, for Dodger fans, and I think for MLB is that there is no investigation into Shohei Ohtani. There is no belief that he was involved in this, that he placed any bets, basically that he is a victim of theft and of fraud in this whole thing. So in that respect, baseball, the Dodgers can breathe a sigh of relief for Shohei. I mean, I'm sure there's the mental and emotional part of, realizing that you were victimized and taken advantage of by a person that you considered a close friend. But at least the investigation part is no longer hanging over his head. So I think that is maybe the most positive takeaway out of anything in this whole deal. But the particulars, the details of it are pretty gruesome, man. I mean, just the levels to which Ippei allegedly was going to defraud a man that was considered his friend. $16 million. The fact that on top of it all, on top of all the betting, Ippei was not good at sports betting.
No,
he was just bad at it. I mean, just even with that one text he said, he's like, "I'm pretty bad at sports betting." LOL. Like, bro, man, give it up. Like you're on a payment plan for $500,000 a week. Like that, if that's not a red flag that you have a problem, I don't know what is. So, I'm sure we'll find more details out, especially after he turns himself in. But it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, no, it's pretty rough. And like the craziest thing to me about all that is the sheer massive amount of numbers that it was. So it was like $142 million that he won over those 2 years and 183 that he lost. So while he stole 16 million from Ohtani, and you said it at the beginning, Ohtani basically is vindicated at this point. It's all over. That's done. Yep. He's going to be just playing baseball. And I think he knew that's what it was. That's why he started playing much, much better, because he could just focus, and he hit that first home run and just went off. But $183 million lost, $142 million won over those 2 years means he's in the whole $40 million to 3 separate bookies. And when you're reading it, these text messages are insane.
Those are my favorite parts.
Well, honestly, because every single one, it's like over months and months and months. He's like, this is gonna be my last time. I swear. Just give me a little bump. Just give me a little bump to get more money. He's like, yeah, okay. This will be the last time.
This is like for real.
I swear this time.
The man said, I swear on my mom.
Yeah,
this will be the last time. I mean, he's around 31 or something. He sounded like a toxic high school couple going back and forth, like, oh, no problem, bro, I got the money. And then the Ippei would be like, oh, I'm sorry, bro, this is last time. It was just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the guy, and it's unfortunate because this is a real issue in the world, but yeah, he was fully addicted and fully down in the dumps. And I mean, I think he was so far in that there was just no getting out of it. Like you said, the sheer numbers, it's just insane. I think I've maybe read about as much as you, Greg, and to me, it was just the fact that he was making calls as Ohtani, and he was, going into meetings with Nas Balelo and the financial, advisors saying, oh, Ohtani's sick. Sorry, we'll have to do it just us. Ohtani wants this account private. You think of it as almost, you want to say, oh my gosh, is he a mastermind? But then it's like, you read the text and it goes, nah, the dude's not a mastermind. He's just a desperate.
That's
somebody. Yeah.
He's not. He wasn't some genius. He was a guy with a gambling addiction, who was trying to feed that addiction by any means. I mean, the part about him calling the bank to impersonate Shohei, but then getting some details wrong, so they froze the account, and then having to call back with the proper details to get the account unfrozen. I mean, I don't know. As I've gotten older, and I'm a guy who's a comic book guy, and I love Marvel movies. Like, you start to realize that there aren't a lot of evil genius villains out there. There are people who do bad things, generally pretty clumsily, and are fortunate to not get caught for a long period of time.
I mean, he didn't get caught for those 2 years, but he did get caught because he was a heroin addict just fiending for his next hit, right? Like chasing the dragon kind of things. But he is a massive liar. We all know people like this, right? People that are just a liar. What kind of liar is it?
Pathological liar.
Yeah, pathological liar that just constantly, and they just make up more and more stories, and you don't fully believe, but you're like, I guess it's kind of understandable, but we got to think this guy is a huge liar in those sense. He lied where he went to college. A very easy thing to find out.
Right.
Oh, wait, you didn't go to UC Riverside? That didn't happen. Oh, let me just call the registrar's office. Oh, wait, you've never had an Ippei Mizuhara? Oh, how did that happen? It's very simple things.
Working for the Red Sox or whatever. He claimed he worked for the Red Sox. The Red Sox,
we
don't know that, dude.
Maybe they didn't have an Ippei Mizuhara, but maybe they had a J Min, aka
J Min,
his pseudonym, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
I think the biggest thing to take away from it all, and I think for us on Blue Review, we'll talk about this stuff as new things come out. But for the most part, I think we stay away from it now. Unless you guys want to, I'm totally fine with just getting into the baseball and not worrying too much about this anymore.
I don't know what there is much to say. I mean, especially with it looking like Shohei is sort of cleared of all, of all wrongdoing, of all suspicion. I guess the only other thing I had is so far what I've seen on social media is kind of what I expected, that people have sort of made up their minds, and there are people who are continuing to say this smells wrong, this is fishy, what's going on. I don't know that you'll ever change the minds of those people, except for me, it's to say, what purpose does the FBI have in covering up for the Dodgers or Shohei Ohtani?
You're right, Marcus. If this was just the MLB investigation, and Shohei ended up being exonerated of all things, and Ippei, whatever, you could probably accept a little more suspicion, but this is, like you said, the federal investigation and the IRS.
Bureau of Investigations, man.
It's not just that, though. It's the FBI, it's the DOJ, it's Homeland Security, it's the Japanese version of all those things. It's Major League Baseball, it's the MLBPA. It's all of these different giant corporations coming together to say, we need Shohei Ohtani to play baseball. Let's all get on the same page, because we're going to skirt everything that has to do with laws and the justice system just for this guy.
For one man.
Just for him. And let's find a fall guy. Oh, his interpreter. Perfect.
Yeah.
We got it. We got it. It's all right.
I would say
it's just ridiculous.
The bigger the conspiracy theory, the more people you need to shut the bleep up about it, right? Like,
yeah,
like the larger the conspiracy theory is, like, if you want to believe that the moon landing was shot in a warehouse in Long Beach, you know how many people you have to have be quiet about that for, what is it, 60 years now? Like, at some point, you just got to believe that we actually put somebody on the moon. Like, that's just what it is.
So I'm just getting ready for the Padres this weekend. I'm paying for Yamamoto today versus Michael King. What does it stack up for the rest of the weekend, Parker? I haven't actually looked yet.
Oh gosh, I lost the page.
I don't know, but
it's probably Gavin Stone. It's probably Gavin Stone on Saturday and James Paxton on Sunday. Does that sound about right?
I'll ask this though. I mean, looking at the forecast for the weekend, when is the last time a Dodger Padre game got rained out?
That's right. It's going to be a possibility tomorrow,
right?
But that last week they did it, or 2 weeks ago it happened too.
Yeah, like the Dodgers and Padres are two teams. Like, when they play each other, you just assume like, yeah, it's going to be fine. But there's a chance that Dodgers and Padres could be a rain out. Who knows?
Yeah. And Greg, to answer your question, Stone is looking like he's on the bump for Saturday, and it's a 6-10 game. So I mean, if the rain continues on through the night, that'd be crazy, but it's a possibility. And then Sunday, I think, is Paxton's back on the mound versus you.
Oh, perfect. And by the way, if there is another rainout, the Dodgers staff that brings out the tarp, they get another shot to redeem
they get another
themselves
practice
because they were I almost cursed. They were terrible on the last time.
Well, I mean, they don't get a lot of work.
No.
I know they don't get a lot of work. I know, having done baseball in the California League, right, that the Southern Division teams, which, like, San Bernardino, Rancho Cucamonga, whatever, once upon a time, a lot of those teams didn't even have tarps because, like, why? So, like, those, so, like, the fact that the Dodger, field crew doesn't have a lot of practice rolling out the tarp, like, I get it. I mean, I don't know if they just do drills in the middle of summer, like, hey, it's June, let's just practice our, like baseball players take infield, like the grounds crew should just like have tarp rolling out practice or something.
I think they do it one time during spring training, and that's it.
It's like PFPs, it's like PFP.
Yeah.
If they have to pull out the tarp twice in like 3 weeks, that's a record for a Dodger Stadium, right? By
Absolutely.
far. And it's never going to be broken. It's like the hitting streak. It's never going to be broken. 2 in 1 month.
Like Cal Ripken's streak, man. Like, it's just what it is,
Gosh. Okay, well, Dodgers, Yamamoto on the mound. Let's get excited for that tonight. Padres are coming to town. The gutty little Padres. So let's see how this goes. Michael King, I think, is who he's going against, and he's actually had a decent start to the year. So hopefully we don't see too many strikeouts from the bottom end of the lineup. Again, Dodgers, Padres, this has been the Blue Review. We will be back Monday at 9:30 a.m., of course, and we'll react to the Padres series and more, of course, if any more news comes out about this Ippei thing. But like you said, Greg, it's time to move on. The cloud is essentially lifted. Ohtani's exonerated, and I think that's that. So, Greg, Marcus, thank you for being here. We'll be back Monday. Have a great weekend, Dodgers fans, and thank you for being in the chat. We appreciate you as always. Thank you to LAX. We'll catch you next time.
Go hit the hot tub, Greg.
I will.